Good morning, America. I'm Nate Myers.
I'm John Tenak, bringing you your latest political news.
Today we're running a special segment on gay rights. First, we'll start off with the roles of parties and interest groups in affecting gay rights.
Political parties affect gay rights because they usually give a general platform that candidates follow in the presidency. If the platform is supportive of gay rights, then the executive branch is more likely to support gay rights.
Interest groups influence gay rights by staging protests, demonstrations, contacting legislators, and generally organizing a movement to promote gay rights. An issue network is formed where many different factors go into influencing public policy.
Now we go live to our reporter on the scene, Michael Murtaugh, an expert on gay rights.
Thanks, John. And today on the show we have Tyler, who's a specialist on gay rights. And Tyler, get us up to date on some recent Supreme Court cases.
Well, in recent news, we have a case called Windsor versus United States. And what that did was, there was two women who got married in Canada, and one died of multiple sclerosis. And so what they did with that is, instead of giving the other lady all of her assets when he died, they taxed her on it. And with those taxes, that it's not supposed to happen, because as they were married. But the United States refused to recognize this marriage, and so they taxed them under the DOMA, Defense of Marriage Act, which means because they're two of the same sex, they get taxed on any assets that were given to the other wife or husband. But Eddie, the lady who was married to the woman who passed away, has sued the United States because she believed that this wasn't the correct way to do it, because she was actually in fact married, but just because the United States refused to recognize this, she decided that it was illegal because of the equal protection principles of the U.S. Constitution. And this says that because she was married, that she should have equal rights to get these privileges that people who are married to someone who isn't of the same sex don't have to get taxed. And right now this case is being judged by the Supreme Court. We'll see what happens soon.
Thank you, Tyler. Thanks for coming on the show.
No problem.
Back to you, Nate and John.
Thanks, Michael.
And now we're going to have a small segment regarding the position of federal and state involvement in gay rights. Well, you see, just as the framers of the Constitution intended it when they wrote the Constitution, the federal involvement here is very minimal. Regarding the executive branch, they've made almost no, they haven't really talked about gay rights except Obama, which we will get to in our next news clip. But they have left it completely up to the states, which means that, for example, gay marriage is legal in some states and not legal in other states. So, for example, D.C. gay marriage is legal. Also, but there are also many other rights that the gay community has. So it is in the opinion of this reporter that Obama is actually trying to motivate the LGBT community by moving public support by announcing this public statement. And really, I think that it may be successful in getting Congress to adapt, be more receptive to some of his policies if he were to pursue that direction. And I believe it's a key part of his election process for this upcoming 2012 election. All right, John, so what do you think about that?
I think you're spot on, Nate. Now for a clip on the legislative branches. Great hair, by the way.
I think that when you look at who is issuing out marriage certificates, I think it's a state's issue.
And yeah, so what are your thoughts on that, John?
I think you hit the nail right on the head there, Nate. Now watch this clip on Obama's position of gay rights.
To tell you, as I said, I've been going through an evolution on this issue. I've always been adamant that gay and lesbian Americans should be treated fairly and equally. At a certain point, I've just concluded that, for me personally, it is important for me to go ahead and affirm that I think same-sex couples should be able to get married.
As you saw, that was a clip of Obama publicly supporting gay rights.
Yeah, and although that was his personal opinion, it doesn't actually affect much of what the executive branch does unless he chooses to implement that. And but of course, anything he did would almost certainly have to go through Congress. Unless, of course, he used an executive order which bypasses Congress. But because we have divided government right now, and we have the Republican-controlled Congress and the executive branch controlled by the Democrats, you see it would be very difficult to pass legislation concerning this, which is why we've had a roadblock this far. I believe that Obama is actually trying to motivate the public interest in the LGBT community. Well, John, it was getting a little stuffy in there, don't you think?
You're right, Nate. And I didn't like those clothes. So now we go live to our reporter on the scene with a real gay person.
And John, how do you think the media portrays you?
Well, I'm kind of upset about how the media portrays gay people as a community. We're portrayed as obnoxious and flamboyant in the most part. But on the other hand, the media is also helping our cause with the media portrayal of LGBT rallies, which is really helping our cause as a community.
Thanks, John. And back to you, Nate and John.
Thanks, Mikey. Seems like a nice guy, huh, John?
Yes, with striking features.
Quite.
Nate, did anything noteworthy happen today?
Nope.
And as we leave, ponder this.
Should gay people be allowed to be married? Thanks, Cougars. Have a safe and wonderful weekend.